Okay, guys. So it's clear to me that we've reached a tipping point, and I think this is a global pandemic. I think my situation is just the same as probably everybody else's. You know, we're all victims at this point in time, and things are going to start to cascade and get much worse. That's the way I see it. What am I talking about? Okay, so you might have noticed from a few of the comments on the last video I made, there was a lot of people upset with the fact that, you know, I mention sometimes at the beginning of the videos and at the end of the videos, you know, the link to support the channel. So what was the reasons then I'm doing that is obviously, you know, I'm trying to raise some support to keep doing what I'm doing. I'd rather do this and try and build this website and make something of this website to try and help my situation out at the moment. What is that situation? Just like a lot of you guys out there who probably live in this Western world at this moment and realise there's not a lot of work about. You know, let's talk about it. You know, the UK right now is saturated with European workforce. There are no jobs. I know that. The ones that are there, there's 0-hour contracts. You know, they're just exploiting people left, right, and centre. Minimum wage, and you know, even I've even over the last few months applied for the low-paid jobs, 0-hour contracts, and not got them. I really don't know what's going on. You know, I feel for these people that are working even in McDonald's, you know, that have got degrees. I mean, I'm educated. I've got, you know, education in science, natural science. It covers a wide range: physics, chemistry, biology. I'm also educated and qualified in law and in management. Somebody spent an absolute fortune training me to chair meetings, would you believe? I can't get a job in the UK. It's impossible. It seems that way anyhow. After 200 applications, you start to ask yourself the question, is there something wrong with yourself? So, you know, I'm sure you guys out there can associate with what, you know, I sometimes have go through my mind. You know, I think it's going to get much worse than this. I think we're on the tipping of, I think we've already tipped, and we're definitely cascading down, and we're picking up speed. And I think there's a global economic crisis taking place that's not being mentioned, just like everything else. If it's not good news, they're not going to tell people about it. It's like the pole shift. They're not going to tell people about that. They're not going to tell them about the grand solar minimum. They're not going to tell them about farmers in the United States, as well as all the Western other countries that can't afford to keep going the way they're going because the prices of the crops are so low. They can't, some of them, and I know we got farmers who listen to this, these reports on air, who would definitely say, you know, we can understand and relate to what you're saying. You know, the situation's catastrophic. I know farmers are laying off, buying equipment that they need, that's probably needed for the last 5 years, again for another year, because they simply don't have that cash to splash out and buy that equipment. So, you know, and as a result, you know, a lot of them are trying to sell up their farmlands. So you've got you know, a surplus of farmland which is being purchased by China and other, you know, organisations that are getting together to buy this land because it's, you know, it is reasonable quality land that can be grown on, and it's cheap at the moment because of the amount of people trying to sell the land. You know, we are facing, I think, in not too distant future, some real problems. I mean, our governments have failed the public. Terrible, especially in the UK. I mean, they've swamped the markets with cheap labour, and what that's done is, like, you know, even if you compare it to gold, if there's too much gold, the gold value goes down. If there's too much labour, the value of labour goes down equally. It's the same as everything else, supply and demand. If there's something rare, it's got a value. If there's something common, it has no value. And right now, because of technological advancement, labour isn't worth nothing. And employees are just taking advantage of the situation to the point, I mean, you'd think if the government actually were there to protect the public, they wouldn't allow companies to have these zero contracts, low hours, and the situation wouldn't be what it is right now. I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say there is work in the UK, and here it is, blah, 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 but trust me, 200 CVs in the last few months I've sent out, and not so much as an interview. Can you believe it? A lot of these jobs don't even exist that these agencies are claiming they have. They're just collecting CVs from people. In the hope, like I've mentioned before, in the hope that when they do get one of these jobs that they've got a drawer full of CVs for, they can cherry pick the best one. And that's why you're ending up with people in McDonald's who have got probably 1 or 2 degrees behind them, a brilliant education, but what are they doing with this education? They're flipping burgers. Something's gone terribly wrong in this modern day, and a lot of it is through these rich people just protecting what they've got and putting their conscience in the closet. I tell you, we're going to face some hard times, not just in the UK, but in the entire Western world. Watch it. From this point on, it's going to get worse and worse. So yes, guys, I do mention that link. It's because, you know what? If I can't get a job out there, because there simply isn't any jobs out there, if I can't get that, then I'm going to try and do whatever I can to support myself. And that's why over the last few months, as well as looking for work, I've been putting a lot of time and effort into getting this website viewable. Maybe we can put some Google ads on there and earn a little bit of revenue from that. That's what I was thinking. So, maybe we can get a bit more support. We can do a lot more. We can have a paid observatory as opposed to a voluntary observatory at the moment, which is what we've got. There are a couple of people that recognise what we're trying to do here and support it. And it's not like I've made any of this up. Guys, these are real anomalies that excuse me, are taking place. This is really happening. The magnetic reversal is taking place. The grand solar minimum has happened. It's not just the fact that we've come to an end of a solar cycle, which is probably what some of these scientists would say at NASA Goddard. Just look at, let's go and have a look at it on the solar data. This has been a trend that's been happening for the last 36 years or so. There's the last 3 solar cycles. You can see for yourself. This isn't just solar cycle 24 coming to the end, because we're only in 2018. According to this graph, solar cycle 24 doesn't come to an end till, if we just take the average line, till 2020. It's already come to an end. If we have a look at the sunspots on the disk today, there is none. It's a blank disk. And it's been like that for the last couple of months now. There has been just a couple of sunspots that they've chose to number. You can have a look at the archive. You can see the X-rays are low, the protons are low, the KP index is low. There is no solar storms, and there is no X-rays. It's flat, dead calm at the moment. So, what I'm trying to do here, guys, is just provide something of value to you guys, a source of information. You can check the volcanoes, live earthquakes, sea ice extent. I mean, there is some traffic coming to the website. It needs to increase, though. So if you've not been on there, have a look. If you're interested in what's happening with your world today, pretty much all the information you need is there now on this website. And it's live. A lot of it is updated every day. this chart that you're looking at, the Arctic sea ice extent, is every day updated. You know, these are updated 2 or 3 times a day. And, you know, there's something, there's got to be something there for, you know, if you want space weather, that's there. Like I say, there's not a lot happening with the space weather at the moment, but, you know, we're collecting the data on it. What else? We've got some good global weather maps on there. If there's something that you think, you know, you'd like to see on the website, let me know. We've got radar, temperature, precipitation, and sea surface temperature. You know, we've got it all on the website, guys, I think. We just need a bit more traffic. And maybe we can get some revenues going, and perhaps then I can stop asking, you know, you guys for some support. But I know some of you guys like to support anyhow, so, you know. It's a mess, isn't it? The world's a mess. And you know, I know there's a lot of people in the same situation as me, and there are a lot of people in a worse situation than me. You know, guys, if the only possession you have is a hammer, then it's going to be no surprise that everything's going to look like a nail. Try and enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and I'll catch up with you again. Speak to you again. Bye.